Okay, we are ready to begin Chapter 9, Section 7, Factoring Special Cases. Our essential question is, how do you factor perfect square trinomials? Okay, perfect square trinomials. For every real number, a and b. Looking here, notice how our a will be a squared number and the b will be a squared number. So when we have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, we can factor this out to a plus b times the quantity a plus b, which is simply the same as a plus b squared. Notice how the squared is outside of my quantity sign. We can do the same thing with subtraction. When we factor out a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, we have a minus b times the quantity a minus b, which is the same as a minus b squared. We're going to use this formula down below, factoring a perfect square trinomial with a equals 1. Notice that there's an imaginary 1 in front of our x squared. Okay, for the first example, we're going to factor it out the long way, and then the next two, we're just going to simply use the formula. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my x's. The square root of 16 is 4. Since we are only working with addition, I know that I'm only working with addition inside of my quantities. Okay, this is the same as x plus 4 squared. And let's go ahead and check this answer. X squared plus 4x plus 16. And it checks out. Okay, for our next example, I'm going to just simply use the formula. So the n equals our a, and well, I should say the square root of n equals a. The square root of 64 equals b. Okay, using the formula, it's the square root of n is n squared, I'm sorry, n squared. The square root of n squared is n. The square root of 64 is 8. Add them. X plus 4 squared. And let's check this answer. N squared plus 8n plus 8n plus 64. It's the same as n squared plus 16n plus 64. Okay, our last example. Our a equals the square root of n squared, and our b equals the square root of 64. I'm going to skip this step and just write the second step. Be n minus 8 squared. I chose to do minus because this is set up in the formula of a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, let's check our answer. If we would expand this out, we would have n squared minus 8n plus 64. And it works. Okay, our next set of examples, we're factoring a perfect square trinomial with a doesn't equal 1. Okay, notice how, right here, we have a 9, so our a is going to be the square root of 9g squared, and the b is the square root of 4. We do have a subtraction sign here, so we're going to use that second formula. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared equals the quantity a minus b squared. Okay, I'm going to plug it in just that second part. Our a, let's look here. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of g squared is g, minus square root of 4 is 2 squared. So this is our answer, and let's check it. Okay, if I would multiply all this out, we'd have 9g squared minus 6g plus 4, which is 9g squared minus 12g plus 4. So it works. Okay, our next example, let's see here. The square root of 4t squared equals our a, and the square root of 81 equals the b. We have addition signs here, so we're going to use that first formula. Square root of 4t squared is 2t. Square root of 81 is 9 squared. So the quantity 2t plus 9 squared is our answer. Let's check this. We would have 4t squared plus 18t plus 18t plus 81. And it works. Okay, go ahead and turn over to the next page. We are looking at the difference of two squares. Okay, we need to fill in this formula. If you see a squared minus b squared, that is the same as a plus b times a minus b. Okay, our first example, we need to factor out the difference of two squares when our a equals 1. Notice there's an imaginary 1 in front of this x squared. Okay, so for the first example, our a equals the square root of x squared. Sorry, that should be a squared. And our b equals the square root of 36. I'm going to plug these numbers into the formula. X plus 6 times the quantity x minus 6. So this is our answer, and let's check it out. X squared minus 6x plus 6x minus 36, which simplifies down to x squared minus 36. Great. Okay, let's look at example 2. Let's see, the a is the square root of m squared, and the b is the square root of 100. I'm going to plug those values in. The square root of m squared is m, plus the square root of 100 is 10. Square root of m squared. Okay, square root of 100. That is our answer, so let's check it. M squared minus 10m plus 10m minus 100. Great, it works. Remember, at any point if I'm going too fast, just pause the video so you can catch up on your notes, or you can re-listen to what I have just talked about. Okay, our next example, the difference of two squares for when a doesn't equal 1. Okay, we have our a on example 1 equals the square root of 9v squared. Our b equals the square root of 4. We're going to plug those values in. Square root of 9v squared is simply 3v. Square root of 4, we all know is 2. Addition, subtraction, and let's check it. 9v squared minus 6v plus 6v minus 4. 9v squared minus 4. Wonderful. Okay, go ahead and do example 2 on your own and then check your answer up on the board with mine. Okay, I got the quantity 5x plus 8 times the quantity 5x minus 8. Next, we're moving on to factoring out a common factor. And then we are going to do the difference of two squares. Okay, a common factor between 8 and 50 is 2. So I'm going to pull out that 2. Now notice how 4y squared is a perfect square and 25 is a perfect square. A equals the square root of 4y squared. B equals the square root of 25. So it's going to be 2 times 2y plus 5, 2y minus 5. And we can check our answer. 2 times 4y squared minus 10y plus 10y minus 25. Then we know that our 10y's would cancel out. Okay, example 2, 2c squared minus 75. Let's go ahead and pull a 3 out of that. Now we can factor this out. 3 times the quantity c plus 5 times the quantity c minus 5. Let's check. 3 times the quantity c squared minus 5c plus 5c minus 25. We know the 5c's would cancel out. The way you know if you need to factor out a common factor is if your a and b are not perfect squares. Otherwise, you do not need to factor out a number and it should work out for you. Okay, looking at the third example, 7 goes into both of those. Okay, go ahead and complete 7 and then check your board up on the answer with mine. Okay, and it works out. Okay, you guys, you should have finished the homework from yesterday's class, from Friday's class. Remember, I did shorten that for you. And go ahead and watch this video, and then on Monday, we will complete homework. We'll check your homework and then do homework from section 7. And we also have Book It because it is a longer class. So hopefully you will get your homework done on Monday in class. Okay, have a great weekend.